The first time I heard Cocaine Bear, I thought it was fake. A 175-pound black bear that snorted cocaine in the Georgia woods in 1985 died and somehow came back decades later as a whole Hollywood event. A movie, memes, merch, headlines, just off the strength of a name that sounds like it was made up in a group chat. And if you think this is just the internet being the internet, oh boy, you're wrong. You are wrong.
What?
I didn't have an answer. I had a sneaky suspicion that this whole moment wasn't just an accident. So I went digging to figure out what actually made this blow up and why I'm low-key convinced it's the most genius entertainment marketing play in cinema history. So as we always do, let's find out. If you're anything like me, the first time you heard Cocaine Bear, your brain automatically did a double take. Also, if you were like me, you was texting your friends like, bro, Cocaine Bear. No context needed. You can just feel the grins through the phone. But the crazy part is, it was actually a real situation. A drug smuggler crashes a plane. Cocaine ends up in the woods and a bear eats it. That's the whole setup. That's the entire reason any of this exists. Because the moment you hear bear and cocaine in the same sentence, your brain already knows this story is gonna be stupid, and in the best way. And here's what's even crazier. The story doesn't just disappear into history like most weird stuff. No. It turned into local lore. People took photos. The bear got taxidermy. It ends up in places where the whole point is, come look at this ridiculous thing. And at some point, the photo starts floating around online with the caption, Pablo Escobar. And now the story has identity. Now it's no longer just a random wild incident, it's a character. And that's where the movie part really starts to begin. Not in a studio meeting, but in the way modern ideas actually get found. Someone sees a photo, laughs, and then goes, wait, hold on. This is a whole movie title already. Jimmy Warden has talked about seeing the photo online in 2019, digging into the real story and writing a script off the strength of the premise. And once somebody writes the script, it's not just a wild fact anymore. Now it's a pitch and a product. So yes, a bear did cocaine is the headline. But the real question is, what happens next? Because once the story leaves the weird true fact territory, it turns into something people can actually sell. The internet is about to do what it always does. And when the internet does what the internet does, it turns from, wait, is this real? To, oh shit, crazy. This becomes way more than just a quick meme. Because once everybody realized that this actually happened, they stop just laughing and actually start digging into the information. So they start pulling up headlines, photos, little details, anything that proves you're just not telling the joke. That's the glue. If it wasn't real, it would have been funny for a day or two and then gone. But when it's real, people feel like they have to confirm it for themselves. And now the story sticks. Like Spider-Man. You've seen this effect before, just in a different genre. The Conjuring. People who don't even watch scary movies know about The Conjuring. They know about The Conjuring because the marketing was, this is based on a true story. And that one line turns the audience into investigators. Now everybody's looking up names and cases, timelines, old photos, and suddenly the movie isn't just a movie anymore. It's part of the culture. It's culture. That's the internet's favorite hobby. Turning ridiculous stories into something everybody understands without ever having to explain. It worked like that here, specifically because it was the perfect mix of ingredients. All that was needed was a couple of dashes of details that made this whole story hit harder when people went looking. The year being 1985, the photo of the taxidermy bear. That little plaque with the name that sounds like a joke somebody would make up, those are the little details that make people stop laughing long enough to go, wait a minute, hold on. So what you are telling me is this thing actually happened and actually exists in real life? Yes. And that's why this one didn't just stay a punchline, because bear plus cocaine is already the easiest thing in the world to repeat. Now it turns into a loop. Somebody posts the title. Somebody posts the photo. Somebody's in the replies.
Actually, I know the story. It was Georgia. My dad friend got chased by that same bear.
Huh?
And then somebody else is below them and it says like,
Actually, the plane was carrying D.B. Cooper.
and now everybody's just participating, just throwing stuff out there, even if they didn't plan to. Now, why does this matter for creators? Not every story will do this, most won't. But when you do find a premise that's instantly repeatable and you've got 1 or 2 real details that make it hit harder, you're not fighting for attention the same way. People don't just watch, they start participating. This is where a lot of people also mess up. People usually start with context and facts, trying to stay serious. No, trying to be taken serious. And they kill the moment before the premise can even land. With this kind of story, you lead with the punch and just a few details and let the audience do what they're already itching to do, which is to repeat, react to it, and add their own little spin. Now here comes this little thing called timing, because this didn't start in some Hollywood boardroom. It started the same way half the internet starts things. Somebody was scrolling.
Sitting on toilet.
You already know how the idea got found and turned into a script. But here's where the internet marketing machine starts working. Once there's a script, the producer gets attached. Then the studio gets involved. Then the director gets named. And now the question becomes, how do we sell this movie to people who don't live on the same corner of the internet as you? Because the internet will run with the premise, but the mainstream needs a campaign. So now we're in the part of the story where the choices start stacking. You keep the title blunt because it's the hook. You make the poster feel like the title. And then you make the trailer feel like the poster. Then you make the interviews and the headlines repeat the same promise, so nobody has to work to explain it. And once the promise is consistent enough, PR becomes the gasoline to fuel that shit up, because the media can't resist a headline that basically writes itself. Hollywood. Now it's no longer an ad, or at least it stops being an ad and starts sounding like, can you even believe this? And that's how it jumps from your feed to your aunt hearing about it now on Facebook. And they didn't just rely on the trailer either. We've talked about this in the video, in this video right here. They kept feeding the people the extra stuff that matched the same tone and was easy to share. Because in this era, the campaign isn't just what you watch anymore, it's how you can pass around that information as well. So yeah, what started as a lucky roll, but turning it into a mainstream moment was a bunch of deliberate decisions that stacked on top of that luck. And that brings us to the real question. What were those decisions and why do they work so well for creators and artists? Basically anybody trying to sell attention before they sell anything else. That's where entertainment marketing and PR really come into play. So let's talk about it. All right, so let's pop the hood real quick, because people love to say the marketing machine like it's just some phrase, but it's literally a machine. Once you see the parts moving, you start to realizing why some stuff feels unavoidable and other releases come and go so fast it even feels like the people who created them forgot about it. So here's the first gear, the promise. In entertainment, it's not the feature you're selling, it's the feeling and the moment. That's why the title, the poster, all the creative direction mixed with the trailer and the interviews, all of it sounds like it came from the same brain, the same joke, the same tone, the same energy. Because if you confuse people for even 5 seconds, boom, they're gone. But if the promise is clear, the audience can repeat it without even thinking. Now the second gear, public relations. This is where people get it twisted. Got me twisted, PR isn't just press for the sake of press. PR is the distributor. When the story is headline friendly, then the headline becomes the ad. That's why the stuff jumps from your feed to your aunt's Facebook. Not because she's tapped into marketing strategy, but because the media is doing the spreading for you. And when PR is actually working, it doesn't feel like promotion. It feels more like culture reporting. The third gear, sharing the pieces. This is the part where a lot of us ignore. They think the trailer is just the whole campaign. Not at all. The campaign is the trailer, yes, plus the little extras that make it easy for people to pass it around. The easier it is for the audience to participate, then the longer the conversation stays alive. And then the last gear is timing. Not timing in the mystical way, Or, oh, they got lucky. Timing in a strategic way, like they understood what kind of internet we're in. Short attention spans, fast jokes, repeatable premises that rewards whatever can be turned into a caption within 2 seconds. When you build your campaign to fit a moment, the machine doesn't have to fight against it. It just smoothly rolls through. And this is why entertainment marketing is so effective for creators, artists, brands, basically anybody. We're all selling attention before we try to sell anything else. If you can package what you're doing like an event people want to talk about, you don't have to beg for clicks. The machine does what it's built to be. You can be a machine. It kind of sounds weird, but you get what I mean. So now that we've looked under the hood, I think I know what that nagging feeling was that had gotten me. All right, after digging through the receipts, I get it now. This wasn't just a random meme that got a movie deal. This was a perfect example of the entertainment marketing machine running exactly how it's supposed to. A promise so simple, people can just repeat it. PR doing distribution disguised as headlines, and the internet doing the free labor because you gave it something to pass around. Also, none of that requires a studio budget. The machine can work the same way for us. If we package what we're doing like an event people actually want to talk about and give them something they can repeat and share without having to do all of the homework, you don't have to beg for attention. Cocaine Bear. How about this? You give me a story in the comments you think would break the internet if people knew it. If it's actually good, I'm stealing it for a future episode. Respectfully. If you want more videos dissecting the biggest marketing moments, check out my video on how your favorite brands and creators are still using strategies that started in 50 BC and don't even know it. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And remember, always check up on your aunt on Facebook. You might just get the next Cocaine Bear. Peace.